What's up people on the interwebs, hope you have an amazing day. So today I thought I'd make a quick video on things that you should do if you're planning on coming to Japan for a holiday, or if maybe you want to live here in the future, and that is when you travel around, or if you're just going to travel in your own little town. Now these things, one's not very expensive and one is completely free, so I recommend both of them, and both of them enjoy the wonderful world of stamps. So if you like collecting stamps, Japan is the place for you to go. So the first one, I'll show you the free one. So depending where you go in Japan, there's many places that will just have a free stamp just chilling in the area. So a common place is a lot of public transport. Trains is a big one. You'll find a lot of these stamps around. For the train ones, they're called the Eki Hankos, or just train stamps. And tourist places will just have a stamp chilling in the corner. Some shrines as well will have these stamps as well. If you just see a little ink pad and a stamp next to it, those are the free Hanko stamps you can get around wherever you go. Now airports also do them as well, and these are the ones that I've collected so far. So I really recommend, if you come to Japan, bring a empty journal with you and start collecting these free stamps. So this one is from Tsushima Airport. These two are from Narita. Now Narita Airport has 4. Currently I've got the one from Terminal 2 and 3, so I need to get 1 and 4. So a lot of the big transport places will have it, so airports and trains are 2 of the big ones. If you are struggling to find them, because this is the problem with doing these stamps, is sometimes they're really hard to find. Now, if you are struggling, just go to the information bit and just be like, where is the Hanko? You can just you can just say Hanko wa Doku desu ka, and they'll have the idea of what you're looking for. And then they should be able to point you into the right direction. Now, especially for Narita, I think it was Terminal 2, I could not find that one for the life of me. I had to ask for help, and the guy pointed me in the right direction. I'm glad I did, since if I didn't ask him, I would have had no idea where it was. I wouldn't even found it for the life of me, because it was really hidden away in the back of the airport. Like, some of the shrines will have these free ones as well. Free shrines from Nagano, and then this big one, a hotel had it. These 2 are from Matsuyama. Now this is kind of a sneaky one. I went to the Studio Ghibli art event that Matsuyama had a couple of weeks ago, and they didn't have a stamp, which was a bit sad, but they did sell some little stamps, so I just kind of bought one and stuck it in my book. And then we have Fukuoka Airport here. You can't really see it because the ink pad didn't have much ink, but this one is from Nagano train station on the Shinkansen. And this is one thing I recommend when you are going to do something like this, is sometimes the ink pad can be quite dry, doesn't have a lot of ink, so sometimes you won't get the best transfer, or sometimes you haven't kind of loaded the ink properly and then you kind of miss this part here. So I really recommend, if you are going to do this, make sure you load the stamp with much ink as possible. Make sure you put it on a flat surface so you can kind of get a nice clear transfer. And also just kind of be careful on where you put your kind of designs, because as you see, we have Fukuoka Airport here. But then later on, I went to the Tokyo government building, and they had a shrine stamp there, but because it was black ink and it had a lot of ink, you can kind of see for where the Fukuoka one is, the ink has transferred. So I really recommend buy a blank journal, and I'd say spend the money on a journal that's kind of got strong, like thick paper, so in case the stamp does bleed over, hopefully it won't go through to the next page, so it doesn't slightly ruin the design. It's not too bad. I think it brings character that shows you've been traveling. I have seen, it all depends on what you are. So I have seen some people where they like the kind of messy design and having the stamps overlap, but for me and my OCD, no, it needs to be separate. They need to have their own little space. I don't want any stamps overlapping, because, you know, I want to see where I've been. I want to like travel around and kind of have a nice clear imprint of the places I've been. But there's also many ones. So here, again, these are stations. This is a shrine one. This is the airport. This one is, so in Matsuyama, there are quite a few, and I need to go back and get some more, but some of the trams will have stamps as well. So this was on the kind of tram station, So I got that one. And then this is Shinjuku train station. And then so far, this page, apart from this one, these are all different shrines I've been to. Ironically, Starbucks had one. And you know what? I was like, let's get the Starbucks one, just add it to the book. So you can kind of find these stamps in the most random place sometimes. And then the Monkey Onsen one was really good because they had 3 different designs. So depending on how big your book is, you can kind of get the perfect stamp. For me, I was greedy, I wanted them all. But I think the different shape ones are really good because I saw some people, instead of having this kind of big journal book like I've got, some people kind of have like a small one they can fit in their coat pocket. So the different size ones are very good if you have a small one. Getting them, and then here's the last one I've gotten so far. And also this is like another big thing to watch out because again, if the ink's strong, then the stamp's going to go through the paper. So that's why I kind of also recommend just get a book with thick paper, or just kind of be conscious on how much ink the stamp's got and don't kind of leave it down for too long, because that's my advice, is flat, check how much ink's on it. Sometimes the places will have paper, so if you don't have your book, then you can stick it on there and then kind of glue it into your book later. But the free paper they give is also a good kind of test to see how much ink's in the pad, what's the kind of like the best angle to do it. So you can kind of have like a practice before you put it in your own book if you want to make sure you kind of get like a good clean transfer. Also as well, make sure you just bring a kind of blank piece of paper, because sometimes when you do put the design in, the ink is still quite wet. So if you don't want the design to transfer onto the next page and maybe ruining some stamps on the other side, just bring a piece of paper so then the ink can just kind of go on the scrap paper. And also buy your book before you get into Japan, because I thought, oh, I'll be able to find a empty kind of journal book in Japan. It is really hard just to find an empty book with no lines and it's just blank like a journal one. I had to get my parents to buy this in England and post it over to me, since Japan has a lot of these kind of books, but they're always lined paper and they just kind of don't have blank journal ones, so I really struggled. So yeah, I really recommend this one, and this one's free, so all you have to do is just bring a book and you can just kind of find all these free stamps around your journey of Japan. And then my last one is if you like traveling to the shrines of Japan. So in majority of every shrine, they will have their own shrine stamp, which is called a Goshirin stamp. I'm sorry if I've butchered it. I will put the spelling and katakana and all the right way to pronounce it here in case I've butchered it. So this is the official shrine books, but basically it's just kind of a small souvenir of the shrine you have been to, and they also put the day you went. The big thing, if you are going to do these ones, you have to get the official book. They will not put the stamp in a regular book, but majority of the big shrines will have these books. Depending where you go, some gift shops will also sell these books as well. If you're especially going into Tokyo first, you'll definitely find these books everywhere, especially in the gift shops. Now, depending where you go, they vary from 700 yen to 1,500 yen. That one tends to be a bit more pricey. Sometimes the shrines do that one, but what that tends to be is the books tend to be about 1,000 yen, and some for the 500 would be that they are going to put the shrine Goshirin stamp in your book. So then that's not too bad, and you've got quite a few blank spaces. So here is how the book looks like. The biggest thing you have to remember for Japan, they don't open the book kind of this way. They go through this way, through the back. And then it kind of just, I go this way. It's kind of like a, I see it like a accordion kind of style, because you kind of just pull it out and then all of the shrines you've been to will kind of pull out on one long line. So these are all the ones I've been to so far. Maybe this way, and then you can kind of see all the cool places that I've been to so far. And I've still got a way to go. So these ones as well, these are really cool ones. So these are special stamps you can get at certain times of the year. It's either to celebrate the new year, either season change, or just kind of something special going on at that shrine during the time you went to visit. And then these ones here, this was a really big shrine in Nagano, and like each section had their own stamp. So I was like, you know what, let's go get them all. And to be fair, I was eyeing at the time of doing it, but I'm kind of glad I did it, because when you stretch it out, it looks pretty cool to have each 5 different parts of the massive shrine. So the design in the book looks pretty cool, and it was definitely worth paying the money for it. So each of these shrine stamps tends to be around 300 to 500 yen. It all depends on, to be honest, I see the price, it depends on how popular the shrine is. Normally 500 is about the average. There tends to be, if there's really small shrines, they tend to be about 300 yen, but majority of these will be around 500 yen. There's only one shrine I've been so far that was 300 yen. But if you want to get these special ones celebrating either the new year or season change, whichever big event they have, these ones tend to be a little bit more pricey. They tend to be about 1,000 yen, but I do think it's kind of worth it, because you get a really cool design and someone's put in a lot of time. Just think of like the artwork they want to put in. So far I only have 2 of these ones, so this is another one I got a couple of weeks ago, but I think that was really cool. And if you're a person where you want to try and complete the book fairly quickish, they also take up 2 spaces, so you can get the book filled up a lot quicker with these ones. But it depends what you're doing. If you're not in a rush and you want to kind of just collect the regular ones when you go, because these ones are also really cool, and the stamps they use is pretty awesome, and it just kind of shows your travel around of all the shrines you've been to. Because so far those are the ones I've collected so far. It's a nice kind of souvenir that you can just show people of, like, this is where I've been in Japan. If you're a big person who likes exploring the shrines, then I really recommend these books, since it's a really fun way. And if you kind of like Pokemon, then I see these stamps as my kind of like, gotta catch them all and get kind of sort of as many of these books filled before I leave or retire or whatever I do in life. Because I think for me, it'd be cool to kind of go to as many shrines as possible. For how some people have a big coffee table and they kind of put like a big travel book on their coffee table, and then when people come in, it's like, look, I'm so cultured, I've been here. You know, these books is my big travel book. I want to stick all of these on like a coffee table, and then when people come over, I'll be like, yeah, these are all the shrines that I've been to while I lived in Japan. Now, how do you get these stamps? Well, when you go to a shrine, they should kind of just have like a little shop section, and that will tend to be the place where you can get them filled in. Now, if you have the book, the second you kind of just give it to them, they know what you want. But if you go Goshorin Onigaishimasu, or even just Hanko Onigaishimasu, and then just give it to them, they'll know what you want and they'll fill in the book. They will ask you what page do you want to stick it in. What I tend to be is, sometimes I would just give the book and just be like Hanko Onigaishimasu, and then where you've got it open, they will stick it on that page. Or most people tend to just go in the order of the book, so when it's the next blank one, they'll just be like, do you want it here? And then you can just go Daijobu or Hai Onigaishimasu, and they will know where you want it and what you want. And then once they've done it, they'll get back to you, and then you pay the money. Most times they will give you a piece of paper, because the ink is still drying and you don't want the ink to go onto the next page, and then just kind of picks up the excess ink. But if they don't give you one, again, like with the other one, just keep a spare bit of paper in the book, so when it is shut, then the excess ink won't transfer onto the next page. Again, it's a bit hit and miss. It all depends if someone is around to fill in the stamp, because there's been a few times I've been to shrines and no one's around to do it for me, so then I have to come back another time, which is not too bad if you live there, because then you can come back. But if you're traveling, it's very annoying, because you know that's probably going to be the only time you're going to be in said place, so you don't have the time to wait around, or if someone's busy, or it might be that the people who volunteer or work at the shrine just aren't working that day, which can be sometimes frustrating, or they're just busy doing something else. So that's one thing you have to watch out. There's times you might not be able to get it done. But yeah, these are 2 stamp collecting things you should definitely do in Japan. If you're a person there, you don't want to spend a lot of money, then don't do these ones. But if you want a free one, definitely recommend to collect these travel ones. And especially some of the shrines, you know, some of them will give you free stamps. So if you don't want to spend any money and you want to keep as much kind of money as possible for traveling around Japan, then I definitely recommend the free one. But if you want a cool book just to kind of show your shrine journey of Japan, then I really recommend doing these ones, because when you pull it out like this, it does look pretty cool for the places you've been. And especially when you can kind of get the more artistic style ones, then it makes the book look even cooler. But even if you go for the regular ones, this section, it still looks really cool nonetheless. So yeah, these are 2 things I recommend when you come to Japan. Become the Pokemon master in collecting as many stamps as possible. But I'll see you in the next Japan related video. If you enjoyed this video, leave it a like, leave it a comment. If you want to see more videos about Japan and you want to see a real honest experience of Japan, then please subscribe and stay tuned for some of the next videos I make in the future. So keep being amazing, keep being awesome, and I'll see you in the next Japan related video. Bye!